If your garden isn't thriving the way it should, the problem might not be your plants, it's likely your soil. And when it comes to fixing soil, three natural materials tend to be thrown around a lot: compost, humus, and grass clippings. They sound interchangeable, but they're not. Misusing them could lead to slow growth, yellowing leaves, poor structure, or even pest issues. If you've ever layered on compost and still ended up with weak crops or dumped clippings that turned to slime, you're not alone. Take 5 minutes and you'll learn how to use each one correctly, without confusion. Have you used compost, humus, or grass clippings in your garden? Let me know what worked or didn't in the comments. Let's decode the real difference between them, how to make each, when to use them, and why it matters. Compost is the product of decomposed organic matter. It's made by piling up a balanced mix of greens like food scraps, grass clippings, and coffee grounds with browns like dried leaves, cardboard, or sawdust. Microbes, worms, and fungi break down the material over time, creating a dark, crumbly substance that smells like forest soil. That's compost. It's still biologically active and contains a mix of partially and fully broken down nutrients. This makes compost a short-term fertilizer and microbial inoculant that feeds your plants almost immediately after application. To make compost at home, simply build a pile or fill a bin with alternating green and brown materials. Keep it moist, not soggy, and turn it every week or two to oxygenate the mix. Over a few months you'll have usable compost. You'll know it's ready when the ingredients are unrecognizable and the pile is no longer hot. Compost should be applied before planting, mixed into the topsoil, or used as a top dressing during the growing season. It's best for improving immediate nutrient availability, encouraging microbial life, and helping new plants establish strong roots. Humus is the final stage of decomposition. It's what remains after microbes have consumed everything they can. Unlike compost, which is still chemically reactive, humus is extremely stable. It holds moisture like a sponge and clings to nutrients, keeping them from leaching out of the soil. You can think of humus as the reserve bank of organic matter in the soil. It doesn't feed the plant directly, but it stores what the plant needs long term. Humus is usually formed after compost continues aging, often for several months or even years, in conditions that allow for complete microbial breakdown. While it can be tricky to isolate humus without lab testing, you can often find it in high-quality aged compost or forest topsoil. Commercial humic substances or humate products are derived from natural deposits of organic matter and can be used in small amounts to mimic the effects of humus. Use humus when your goal is to build a resilient soil system. It improves texture in sandy soils, reduces compaction in clay soils, and helps regulate pH and nutrient exchange. Unlike compost, humus isn't about quick results, it's about soil longevity and ecosystem balance. Grass clippings are often treated as yard waste, but they're actually one of the most nitrogen-rich resources in a gardener's toolkit. When handled correctly, they can serve as fertilizer, mulch, or compost material. However, if dumped in thick mats, they can become slimy and anaerobic, which harms soil microbes and encourages fungal problems. Fresh clippings can be mixed into a compost pile to accelerate decomposition, especially if your pile is carbon-heavy. They heat things up fast and feed bacteria that break down tough materials like stalks or leaves. Slightly dried clippings can also be used directly as mulch around plants. Spread in a thin layer, they help retain moisture, suppress weeds, and return nutrients like nitrogen and potassium to the soil. Grass clippings also shine in chop-and-drop systems, like no-dig gardens or food forests, where they're cut and allowed to fall in place, forming a natural mulch layer that decomposes in situ. Avoid using clippings from chemically treated lawns or areas sprayed with herbicides or pesticides. These residues can damage your plants and disrupt soil life, especially if used in compost. Choosing between compost, humus, and grass clippings depends on your goal and timing. Compost is ideal when starting a garden bed. It enriches the soil quickly and supplies a burst of nutrients during the critical early stages of plant growth. Apply it before planting or as a mid-season boost. When aiming to build long-term fertility, humus is your best bet. It offers stability, water retention, and improved structure over time. Apply humus or aged compost during fall bed preparation, or as a top dressing in already healthy soil systems that need lasting support. For ongoing garden maintenance, grass clippings are practical and effective. They help cycle nutrients through compost or serve as surface mulch for water retention and weed suppression. If used correctly, they allow your garden to feed itself using what it already produces. Using the wrong material at the wrong time can stall your garden's progress or even set it back. Compost too early and it might burn seedlings. Clippings too thick can suffocate roots. Humus in isolation can improve structure but won't feed plants without supplemental nutrients. But when used wisely and together, these three materials can transform even lifeless soil into a thriving, living ecosystem. The key is to think of them as tools in a system, not one-size-fits-all solutions. Compost feeds, humus supports, grass clippings recycle. Now that you understand the difference, the next step is putting it into action. Look at your soil. Does it drain too fast? Feel compacted? Struggle to hold nutrients? Choose the organic matter that addresses the real problem, not just what's trending. If this helped clarify things for you, hit that like button and drop a comment with your favorite way to use compost, humus, or clippings. Don't forget to subscribe to Soil Doctor for trusted, science-backed gardening tips that actually work. Watch again, take notes, and share this with a fellow gardener who might be making these mistakes. Your soil will thank you.